I guess you're all waiting for me. Baruch shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'giyanu lizman hazeh.
Amen.
Blessed are you, our God, King of the universe, who has granted us life, sustained us and enabled us to reach this monumental occasion of the grand opening of the beautiful, state-of-the-art Mikvah Chaya Mushka here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'd like to begin by obviously welcoming all of you who came here today, especially some of our esteemed guests that have come from out of town, from far, all the way from the country of New York City. We have my father-in-law and mother-in-law that joined us for a Shabbos as well, and it's always special to have them here. We have the esteemed delegation from Mikvah USA, led by Rabbi Rosenberger, who nudged me every single day for 3 years straight. What's happening with the Mikvah? So, welcome.
Do you mind moving?
Now,
I don't mind.
if I were to ask you, what is the holiest space in Judaism? What would your response be?
Shabbat.
Shabbat. The synagogue, maybe. The Western Wall. Some of you might think I'm about to say the mikvah, but you'd all be wrong. The holiest place in Judaism is your home, a Jewish home. God's desire for this world is described in the Torah as va'asuli mikdash v'shachanti b'socham, to make a dwelling place for God, and it says you should make for me a dwelling place and I will dwell in them. It doesn't say in it, it says them, and as the Medrash says, in each and every one of the homes that we will build, God desired to dwell in our personal space, at home. In each and every home that we build a sanctuary for Him. In every home built on the foundation of purity, Torah and mitzvot, the purpose of creation is fulfilled. But this doesn't happen on its own. There's a process of sorts. There's a method. And just like when God created His world, the Torah states that all of existence was submerged in a body of water, so too before creating our home, before creating our family, we immerse in a mikvah. The purifying waters of the mikvah is the power and the secret to creating the dwelling place of God in the most holiest of places in our home. This is why Jewish law dictates that a community must sell their house of worship. They sell their synagogue if funds are needed to build a mikvah. A mikvah has priority. At Masada, the last stand of the Jewish rebellion, they prepared the structure with all the necessities to survive. So it shouldn't surprise you, we're not sure if there was a synagogue, but there are 3 mikvahs built on top of Masada. Because the mikvah is crucial to the survival of us as a nation, as a people, as a community. It's the foundation on which we build our life. Although the mitzvah of mikvah today is not necessarily a daily routine, but its message of purity resonates throughout our daily life. The mitzvah of mikvah is unique in where it encompasses the entire being as a whole. Even one strand of hair that does not immerse in the water renders the mitzvah incomplete. For this is the foundation on which the entirety of our homes stand. Every part of our home is to be built on holiness and purity. There is not a part of our lives that cannot be part or can part from this. From the mikvah, we go ahead and we put mezuzahs on every doorpost of our home. We place charity boxes in every single room to fill the home with giving, with purity, with mitzvah. For our home is to be immersed in the waters of God's mikvah. And the mikvah is a great source of blessings for individuals as well as for the community. And on this auspicious occasion, I bless each one of you who are here today, every member of our community who took part in the mikvah construction, and every donor who contributed to building this mikvah, the many blessings that come along with it. Now, we are indebted and very thankful to our earliest partner who got this project started, and that is a wonderful organization, Mikvah USA. When we dreamt about building a mikvah, we got a call the very next day. We're here to help. Mikvah USA pushed us along, got it all started, came down, put together the first meeting, and their support financially, physically was instrumental in making this beautiful mikvah a reality. And so I would like to introduce and ask Rabbi Torsky from Mikvah USA to come up and share a couple of words.
I would like to thank everyone over here to give us the opportunity to take part in such an exciting event. Baruch Hashem, we put together such a beautiful mikveh. As part of Mikvah USA put in so much time and effort. And when we were working along with Mikvah USA, we kept on hearing how the rabbi and the rebbetzin are putting in so much dedication to this community, putting together such an exciting thing, and it's a very, very special moment. Mikvah USA has put together, this is not the first mikvah I'm part of, I'm part of 2 mikvahs, but Mikvah USA has put together close to 100 mikvahs all over the USA. And again, I would like to bring out to everyone what I keep on hearing from the staff, that working along with the rabbi and the rebbetzin, we hear so much dedication to the community. It's an amazing experience. Most of the people that we worked along with that donate for this mikveh, I don't think they even know how to pronounce the word Chattanooga, they don't even know that. But they only know one thing. They know that Am Yisrael is one, and they need to have purity all over the USA and all over the world. Thank you everyone, Am Yisrael Chaya.
Rabbi Twersky, it's none of the above. It's Chattanooga. Anyway, a few years back, there was a man who put an offer on a beautiful home. He was outbid for that home, and yet he ended up building his home there. Yep, when Chabad unknowingly outbid Mr. Lipsy at the time for this very building, we were unsure how we would ever make this work. But Hashem had a plan. And sure enough, with the help of our dear friend, this dream became a reality. And we're tremendously grateful for the partnership we have with the Lipsy family, with Joe, with Shira, with Joseph. And when Mr. Lipsy heard of the plans to build the mikveh, he stepped up to the plate and made it happen. This mikveh is dedicated by the Lipsy family, and I would like to call upon Mr. Joseph Lipsy IV, son of Shira and Joseph Lipsy III, grandson of Joseph Lipsy II, to accept this small gift of appreciation for his family. In the spirit of the mikveh permeating every asset of our lives, we found it fitting to gift the monumental work of the Rebbe, the Hayom Yom, an expression which translates as day by day. It is a collection of concise thoughts, meditations, one for each day of the year. And on this Hayom Yom, it reads, presented, Joseph and Shira Lipsy III, March 27th, 2022, in appreciation of your partnership and dedication, Mikvah Mechai Mushka, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Hello everybody, it is an absolute honor to be here standing in front of you speaking. I want to say what a blessing it has been for me since I've moved to Chattanooga to be welcomed by Shal and their family to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and be able to have a place to go for Friday nights to spend my Shabbats and it has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm so happy to be standing here to unveil the newest addition to the community, which is the Mikvah, and I'm very excited for what it'll bring forth in the community and for new projects to arise. Thank you for coming, and it is a pleasure.
Very well put.
Now, we feel lucky and privileged to have made so many close friends here in Chattanooga, and one of our dear friends and supporters who put in countless hours, days and nights, using all his resources to make this mikveh reality is Mr. Jay Goldstein. Someone who understood from the start that when I asked if we should build a mikveh, really what I meant was, can you please build a mikveh for us? And I would like to thank Jay and the Goldstein family for allowing him to put all this time into our mikveh. I know it wasn't easy. And although he turns out today, for medical reasons, he can only watch on Zoom, but hi Jay, and we would like to present this Hayom Yom, presented to Mr. Jay Goldstein in appreciation of your dedication and commitment. Mikvah Mushka, Mushka, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thank you, Jay. And now for the highlight of today's event. I would like to introduce to you our speakers, beginning with Mrs. Jamie Friedrich. Jamie lives here in Chattanooga with her husband Kevin and her two most adorable children, Chase and Austin. Jamie has become an ambassador of our mikveh, and it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you Mrs. Jamie Friedrich.
Hi everybody, good afternoon. I am so excited to share with you a little bit of what mikvah means to me. The word mikvah comes from the word collection, as in a collection of water. Makes sense. But although this direct translation of the word is simple and straightforward, the experience is much more than that. I first learned about the mikvah during Sinai Scholars through Chabad at UGA. They're here with us today, which can make me tear up. But Hannah, the Rebbitzin, has had a great influence on my connection to my own Judaism, and I'm forever grateful for that. 2 years after college, I got married, and 2 years after that, my husband and I found out that we were going to be moving to Chattanooga. We knew we wanted to start our family here. I just felt in my heart that I needed to connect to my own Judaism. So I called Hannah and she recommended the mikvah. We reviewed the rituals and Hannah set up an appointment for me at a mikvah. When I drove up, I read through my notes before going in. During the entire process, I checked off my mental notes one by one. I had no connection to this particular mikvah other than it being close to where I was living at the time. I didn't know the attendant, and I just followed the instructions. It just felt like a collection of rituals in order to participate in a mitzvah. Fast forward 4 years. I hadn't been to a mikvah since, and I found myself looking spiritually once again. Whether it was because it was cold and dark outside, or I just wasn't in a great headspace, I was longing for a connection to my faith. So I went back to what I knew, the collection of rituals. I called Rosie, and since it was also a time of Nida, she recommended the new mikvah here. Visiting Mikvah Chaya Mushka has been a different experience for me. Mikvah is no longer simply a collection of water or even a collection of rituals. Visiting the mikvah to me is a collection of my own thoughts, a collection of purity, a collection of prayer, a collection of spirituality, and a collection of peace. When I begin the prep process, it is my time to disconnect from the world around me and look within. As I immerse, it is the feeling of purity. When I say the prayer and finish with my own personal prayers, I feel connected to God at all levels of spiritual. And finally, as I come out of the water, I feel at peace. I've been trying to reflect on why my experience here at Mikvah Chaya Mushka became more meaningful, and it really comes down to one thing: place. When we moved here, Hannah connected me to her cousin Rosie, and the Pearlsteins welcomed us with open arms. Over the last 4 years, the Pearlsteins have been there for us through the pandemic and 2 babies, whether it was hosting the kids and me for Chabad and having some extra hands while my husband had a long weekend of call. Thanks, Sarah. I think she's in the other room. Or dropping off Khalid just to say good Shabbos and give us some love in tough times. So, how does this relate to my experience? Well, not only is the facility state of the art, but it is here at Chabad of Chattanooga, where I feel a part of a community, my community. I feel welcomed, I feel comfortable, and I can just simply focus on the mitzvah. And I hope that many more people have an opportunity to find out what the mikvah means to them.
Thank you, Jamie. That was beautiful. I'm going to ask my father to share l'chaim.
Chaim, really no words. A very special moment for me personally. 60 or 65 years ago, my grandfather, my father's father, used to come to visit Chattanooga. He was an old-time chassid, with the beard, with the garb, with all the 9 yards. And he would occasionally go into the Rebbe, and he would complain to the Rebbe, "What am I doing in Chattanooga? I don't speak the language, people don't understand me, I can't connect. What am I doing there? Where am I going?" And the Rebbe would tell him, "You have to go, because you never know. It could be somebody sitting by the window, looks down, sees a Jew from the old country, and this awakens him, this inspires him to do another mitzvah, to do another good act, to do another good deed." So to be here today, my Zayda will tell me the story many, many, many times. So to be here today as a Zayda, and to watch my own children and my grandchildren continuing this mantle, but not only as walking the street as a stranger, but really to build the community, be part of the community, and at the same time build such a beautiful house of worship, such a beautiful mikveh. It's just beyond any words. So I say l'chaim, I give a special gratitude to Hashem for giving us the opportunity to be part of this great endeavor. I want to thank all the donors. I want to give a special thanks to the delegation from the Mikvah USA, what they do here, what they do for Klal Yisrael. Thank you very much. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Thank you, Tom. Okay. A story is told of a young bride 70 years ago in Russia whose fiancé was arrested for counter-revolutionary activities. His crime was teaching Yiddishkeit, Judaism, in communist Russia. This young bride insisted on being there to support the man she knew was her soulmate. She purchased a train ticket and undertook the arduous journey to the Siberian mountains, where her future husband was imprisoned. Through a series of events, the couple was reunited. The imprisoned community was excited to celebrate a wedding, but one thing had to happen first. All Jewish women immersed in a mikvah before their wedding day. Our young bride was determined to fulfill this, and the only mikvah around was the frozen Pratoka River. But that did not stop her. Despite the cold and freezing waters, she broke the ice in order to maintain this special tradition her ancestors held on to for thousands of years. I know the story well, for I am proudly the granddaughter of this bride, my dear Bubby, Bubba Golda. A few years ago, when the mention of building a new mikvah in Chattanooga came up, to be honest, I thought, a mikvah here? But then I recalled the story of my Bubba Golda and knew that if she could break the ice to perform this mitzvah, I could break some boundaries too. And so it was. We would dedicate countless hours designing, planning, consulting with experienced rabbis the intricate laws of building a mikvah, and walk around every granite store in town to ensure that this would be the most beautiful mikvah. The day we broke the wall to begin digging the mikvah pool, I stood and watched and understood. The landscape of Chattanooga is changed forever. The earth of our city has been transformed. Throughout time, the mitzvah of mikvah is what kept us. Today, we celebrate the miracle that 3,333 years after the giving of the Torah, our people always immerse themselves in the mikvah. At the well of Miriam, the mikvah at Masada, to the freezing rivers of the Soviet Russia. And now, the state-of-the-art mikvah rises here in our city. There are tremendous blessings associated with the mikvah. Allow me to share one I got to witness. Last year, a woman from an area north of Chattanooga called, asking if our mikvah was ready. She explained that after many years of trying to conceive, her doctors were ready to give up hope. A rabbi from Israel told her about the blessings associated with the mikvah, and she decided to start using it. A couple of months ago, with thanks to Hashem, baby Lior was welcomed to his family with great celebration. So exactly 1 year ago, this mikvah began to transform lives even before its finished state. It is especially meaningful to dedicate the mikvah in honor of the Rebbitzin, Chaya Mushka, the Rebbe's wife, whose birthday we celebrate this evening. The name of the mikvah, Mikvah Mei Chaya Mushka. The Rebbitzin was a role model to so many, including myself. She was a true woman of valor. Her kindness, compassion, and care for every person is something I strive to emulate. Rebbitzin Chaya Mushka was an educated, modest, and warm individual. Although she did not have any biological children, we all felt like her only child. She loved and cared for all of us, and it is an honor to dedicate the mikvah in her name. I conclude by thanking each one of you for being here and all those who supported the stream and made it a reality. May this mikvah bring much light and blessing. May God bless us all with waters of blessing. To every person who will use this mikvah, to every person who helped build it, to our Jewish community and the entire Chattanooga community, I look forward to making this mikvah real, relevant, and meaningful in all of our lives, helping us experience godliness as something tangible and real. And through the transformation created by the mikvah, may this world experience the greatest transformation of all, when godliness will permeate the world over like the waters cover the sea. May it be now. Amen. Politics to come? Yeah, okay. So, you can to go down. We're going to go to the water. So, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go through these doors. We'll all go together around the building to the front, to the ribbon cutting, and we'll sing Mazel Tov, and then everyone's welcome for a mikvah tour. After that, you could come back here for more l'chayims, and you could all, just getting some of the kids, and you could all, if you wanna leave your purse here, you can leave stuff here, you can leave stuff here, we'll all